Okay, we got a beer number 2 for tonight. And this time we have the Church Brewing Company's Atlantic Lager at 4.9% alcohol by volume. There's some sort of, I guess maybe there's a co-promotion with the CFL. I don't know. Football and beer, a match made in heaven, proudly brewed in Nova Scotia, Canada. Chris, easy drinking lager. Yeah. CFL is Church Brewing Company and the CFL. Okay. They're co-sponsoring this. So actually that's pretty big for Church. They're just a small little brewery, man. So I guess that's a big thing for them. I don't know any other further details of what this represents. I don't think they really say in the website either. We got the wonderful Paul PA Brew News saying cheers, Brother Lee. Cheers to you, brother. So I'm going to share a screen here. There is some information on the actual website for once from Church. Present, that's what it is. All right, so we got it here. So it's interesting to say that this is supposed to be inspired by Stella Artois. And they give a history of the Stella Artois and how it was first a Christmas beer. They do mention here the original UK strength of Stella Artois was 5.2% and 4.8% from 2008 till 2020. According to Freddie Delavue, former head in-house laboratory, the Belgian version was 33 IBUs when he joined the lab in 1973 compared to just 20 IBUs in 2014. That's an interesting little factoid there. This goes to show you how like these big brands kind of like dumb down their IBUs and stuff over the decades. Atlantic Lager is also 20 IBUs to match the modern Stella. We don't need food pairings because basically it says here food pairings: burger, fish and chips, chicken sandwich, wings, tuna poke. They've, from what I understand, they made this beer to be like their main in-house beer now at the actual church brewery slash like restaurant. So like this is the one you order with all of our good pub food. That's kind of what they're doing here. I don't need tasting notes. Ingredients and specs: 5% alcohol by volume. Well, they say 4.9 on the can, but I mean that's just splitting hairs at this point. The BU is 20. I think they fucked up there. IBU is 20, of course. They use Pilsen malt, Magnum and Saphir hops, and German lager yeast. Key descriptors: balance. I don't need that either. That's fine. Okay, well, so we'll stop sharing that shit. And we'll get right into it. So Church makes one of the finest Pilsners in the region. So let's see how they deal with just like a basic, I guess this is like a basic Euro lager. I just put lager as style because I wasn't quite sure what they were going for here. But now that they say it's based on Stella Artois, I guess you kind of assume the sort of general Euro lager, whatever that means, honestly. But I find it kind of funny that, Europe is the land of lagers, basically. Like pretty much every lager style was born in Europe. Yet there is people can say there is a Euro lager style when there's like so much diversity, or at least there used to be. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe there's not as much diversity anymore when it comes to that. But all right. So this actually looks much closer on the camera as it does in real life for some reason. I mean, it's still a little slightly darker kind of copper tinge to it, but it's a straw, golden straw color. It looks like Stella Artois, actually. Pretty close. So let's go right to the aroma. Oh, you know what? This smells like Stella Artois. It's got those same sweet grassy notes, kind of grainy. It feels maybe a little bit more malty on the nose than a Stella does, but it's pretty close. Mm. Yeah, so it smells good. If you smell the Stella Artois, this is kind of a fair approximation of that. So I guess nothing more to do but go to the taste. Cheers. Hmm. It does have a crisp quality to it. It's not an immense one, but that's kind of what kind of tips you off that it's still a lager. But like actually drinking it flavor wise, it does taste like if Stella Artois was a blonde ale. Is kind of what I'm getting out of this because the Stella Artois kind of flavor profile is here for the most part, but it feels meatier, feels maltier. I don't I don't know if that makes sense. If I can relate that in any sort of way that's going to translate to you guys, but um, it feels like I'm drinking a blonde ale. So you got like those sweet floral notes, like there's a slight biscuity quality to it. Um, and it just feels like the body is a little bit like upper light bodied instead of like just, kind of watery Stella is today. Um, and it's just like it's sort of walking that line, flavor profile wise, of like lager or blonde ale. And like blonde ales are basically the lagers of ales. Like they're down there in those that sort of nebulous space for the most part, where it's like very light ale, very lager like notes, very generally floral, sweet. The only thing usually that distinguishes them from most lagers is like there's usually some sort of like biscuity malt quality usually, and I'm kind of getting that here. So it's like Stella Artois as a blonde ale is kind of like the best way I can put it, even though this is still a lager. Um, so it's a slightly meatier Stella Artois, basically, is what this is. And if you like Stella Artois, you'll like this. I think I like Stella Artois fine. It's super expensive for what the fuck it is, though. So I don't buy it often, but um, yeah, it's good. It's basically just Euro lager, however you want to put it. Style wise, I've had a lot worse. I've had better. Um, finishes finishes nice too. It's like just a little lingering dryness. It's like like I said, it's only 22 IBUs or something like that. So it's not like it's just enough to make you want to have another sip, kind of thing. Um, yeah, I'd say an 8 style wise. It's a pretty good approximate. Like I said, it's pretty close to Stella Artois. That's kind of what they're going for here. So they're if you can make something that's close to Stella Artois and it tastes good, then you've made a decent, you know, somewhat classy, quote unquote, Euro lager. And that's kind of what they've done here in style, anyway. And my own personal preference, I'd buy this again. I still like their Pilsner way better. I think their Pilsner is amazing. Um, but I'd give this a 7.5. I'd sit it there. I definitely will buy this again. Um, and I shouldn't be surprised that they managed to pull this off. The fact that they got a kind of a good, slightly meatier Stella clone here. because they did their pilsner so well. I mean, they did such a great recreation of a pilsner. It just stands to reason that maybe they'd be able to pull this off as well. Church seems to know their shit. So what can you do? They're a good brewery. So yeah. So the Church Brewing Company, their Atlantic Lager, especially if you like Stella Artois and you want to taste it in like craft beer form, this is kind of it. So yeah. Cheers. Thanks for watching, and we still got one more to do. So we will be back in, I don't know, another 10 minutes or so. We'll be back and do another review. So until then, bye.